Hello and welcome to Gridish Plays. Today we're taking a look at one of my all-time favorite Super Nintendo games, SimCity. As I'm sure you're aware, it was released on PC as well, but I always preferred the Super Nintendo version. It's very nostalgic for me. We can get into that later. Let's just jump into a game. Start a new city here. So, the game has 1,000 possible maps. There's also a way to get an extra 1,000. But we're just going to, we'll find a good map here. As if 1,000 maps weren't enough. There's some that are shaped like islands, but most of them look kind of similar to this. You kind of want one that looks like this. You want to stay away from the island ones usually because you have less land to work with. So we'll go ahead and pick this one. This looks like a good map here. So we'll go with this one. And we'll call it Gridland. Looks good. Alright, go with medium game level. Middle of the road. So yeah, this game's very nostalgic for me. I used to rent it all the time when I was a kid from my local video store. Alright, I don't want to spend half my budget right off the bat on nuclear power, so we're going to start with coal power. Coal power produces a lot of pollution, so you want to try to keep anything that produces a lot of pollution on the edge of the map, because half of the pollution will be off the map and it'll help your pollution rating. I am going to play the game straight initially so that you can see what it's like to just play the game, but then we're going to put in a code later so I can show you some strategies without having to worry about money. So there's a graph on the top right that shows you what zones are in demand. The I is industrial zones, the C is commercial zones, and the R is residential zones. There is a couple strategies, like I said, that I'll get into later, including the donut strategy and the zone stacking strategy. But the essential gameplay strategy here is you want to balance how much taxes are going out versus how much income you have coming in. In order for the code to work later, we got to put down police departments, fire departments, pretty much any kind of taxable buildings. And we'll put another police department over here. Eventually, you're going to want a railroad infrastructure. It kind of helps with pollution and traffic, which is two of the big problems in the late game. we'll just kind of start a completely devoid of strategy. We'll just start kind of a railway here that I can build off of. Okay, let's set the game speed to fast. So I want to move along here. I want some time to progress in the game so we can get knee-deep in the city planning early. So what's cool about this game is as you progress, this guy pops up occasionally and gives you little tips here and there to kind of mold your city into something that should be self-sustaining. He really only pops up when something's wrong, but that's kind of the idea, like you have to fix problems. This is the tax screen. Basically it outlines how much you're making, how much you're spending. Let's see, put down some more residential zones. I don't have to bring power to these because they're touching buildings that have power. How about a couple more commercial zones? So yeah, right now I'm putting buildings down, or zones down rather, completely devoid of any strategy. Here's one thing, parks will increase the land value of zones and buildings that they're next to. So that's a good thing to put down. That's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, later on you get into some pretty deep strategy, but you want to kind of lay out a groundwork to build off of. As you can see, some buildings are coming in here, some commercial buildings in the zones. Alright, so we have more than 2,000 people in our town already, so that's good. We've become a town. Placing residential zones, industrial zones, and commercial zones in balanced numbers will help your city to grow. Alright, so I get to put my house down. You get gifts occasionally. They're usually casinos or amusement parks. They pop up here on this question mark icon. They cost $100 a piece, which is really cheap for the quality of buildings that you get. But I'm going to save that for something later. Yeah, at this point I can't really afford any of the good buildings, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of just keep on with what we were doing here. More roads required. Sounds good. Alright, pollution warning. So there is pollution, but buildings that pollute on the edge of the map does help. I mean, I had to go with the coal power plant at the start because I didn't want to, blow half of my budget right at the beginning of the episode. Alright, so I need more roads. This is where some of the yearly budget goes on road maintenance. I'm going to go over these parks I just put down, but that's cool. So the game kind of forces you to have a minimum amount of roads, because it wants you to have to balance your budget year after year. See, we're losing money now, but that's actually good. That's because I put down so many, it's because I put down so many police departments and fire departments so early on. I really didn't need to put that much down, but that's for something later. You have to be losing money for the code to work. I guess that's on purpose, like that's by design, because if you're gaining money, then you shouldn't need a code in the first place. So that's actually pretty smart that they did it that way. Put some more mass transit down. The idea right now is for me to spend all of this money. That's how the code works. Some more parks. Alright, almost out of funds. Let me bulldoze some stuff. Yeah, it might seem odd, but for this code to work, you need zero cash. So we have a pretty good little city going right now. I mean, it's nice. It's a good starting point. We'll build off of this as we play. Alright, so the code comes at year end at the text screen. I'll walk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I have it written down here on kind of a cheat sheet because it's a very complex sequence and I can't remember it, so I have it written down here. I did this in advance.